In the 1930s, the British aristocracy threw some of the most exclusive parties in the world. Champagne flowed, jazz filled the air, and the guest lists featured royalty, lords, and MPs. But behind the high stone walls of England's grandest country estates, a dark undercurrent was pulling British high society toward Berlin. While the British public viewed Adolf Hitler as a growing menace, a powerful, secretive faction of the ruling class viewed him as a savior. They weren't just sympathizers, they were peers of the realm, royal family members and wealthy socialites, and their hidden estate parties became hotbeds for fascist networking. To understand how deeply Nazism penetrated British high society, we look to one family, the Mitfords. They were wealthy, aristocratic, and utterly divided. While Jessica Mitford ran away to fight fascism in Spain, her sisters Unity and Diana took a terrifyingly different path. Unity Mitford became obsessed with Adolf Hitler. In 1934, she traveled to Munich, stalking the Führer at his favorite restaurant until he finally invited her to his table. Hitler was captivated by her, calling her the perfect Nordic woman. Unity became a core member of Hitler's inner circle, openly consuming Nazi propaganda and bringing those radical ideas back to the London salon scene. But it was her sister, Diana Mitford, who would engineer the most dangerous bridge between the British elite and the Nazi regime. Diana left her wealthy husband for Sir Oswald Mosley, the leader of the British Union of Fascists. Together, Diana and Mosley became the glamorous power couple of homegrown British fascism. While Mosley's black shirts were violently brawling with working-class communities in the streets of London, a much more genteel form of fascism was being cultivated in the countryside. Secret parties were held at remote country estates, far from the prying eyes of the press and the British intelligence services. At these gatherings, Nazi diplomats, German spies, and British lords mingled over cocktails. Diana Mitford's social status shielded these meetings. She transformed fascism from a thuggish street movement into a fashionable elite trend. Members of the Right Club, a secret society of anti-Semitic British aristocrats, frequented these parties. They toasted to Anglo-German alliances and plotted how to steer British foreign policy away from war with Germany. The ties were so intimate that in 1936, when Diana and Oswald Mosley secretly married, the wedding didn't take place in England. It took place in Berlin at the home of Nazi propaganda minister Joseph Goebbels. The guest of honor, Adolf Hitler himself, who gifted the couple a silver-framed photograph of himself. The Mitfords were not isolated eccentrics. Sympathy for the Nazi regime went all the way to the very top, Buckingham Palace. King Edward VIII, who abdicated the throne in 1936 to marry American divorcee Wallis Simpson, was an ardent admirer of Hitler. Edward believed that Germany was Britain's natural ally and a vital shield against Soviet communism. Even after his abdication, as the Duke of Windsor, he and Wallis visited Germany as official guests of the Third Reich. Behind closed doors at aristocratic estate parties, whispers circulated that if Germany successfully invaded or compromised Britain, Edward would be restored to the throne as a puppet king. For years, this wealthy elite used their money, press influence, and political power to push a policy of appeasement, turning a blind eye to the horrors building in Europe. They truly believed their world of privilege would be preserved under a fascist New World Order. But in September 1939, the music stopped. Hitler invaded Poland, and Britain declared war on Germany. The secret parties were over. The British government enacted Defense Regulation 18B, swiftly arresting high society Nazi sympathizers. Diana Mitford and Oswald Mosley were locked up in Holloway Prison for the duration of the war. For Unity Mitford, the tragedy was personal. Torn between her loyalty to her home country and her devotion to Hitler, she shot herself in the head in a Munich park. She survived the suicide attempt but was left severely brain-damaged, dying years later from the wound. The history of Britain in World War II is rightly remembered for the courage of the Blitz and the resilience of its people. But buried beneath the lawns of England's grandest estates lies a chilling reminder that the greatest threats to democracy often dress in silk, speak with perfect accents, and toast to the enemy from the comfort of their own gardens.